I'm Katie, and this is episode 104 of Ornamentations. I still can't believe that we are past the century mark and that anyone wants to listen to me talk about my stitching at all, let alone so many of you for so many episodes. So thank you for being here with me today. I have a fun episode for you. We are going to be kicking off the start of the long-awaited Britomart Sampler class. It's here. I have lots of progress to show you for Sampler September. I will be revealing the new embroidery class for 2025. We will be doing, I was about to say 2026. No, it's still 2025. I don't even know what day it is. We're going to be doing some shade comparisons on linen. And then I also have the giveaway winner for from the last episode, as well as some new giveaways to offer you at the end of this episode. So we're going to get started with some news items before moving into stitching. I am really happy to share with you that I will be returning to the Attics Sampler Symposium for 2026, presenting an original project. Full details on the event, including all of the amazing faculty who you really want to see, are in the Attics class Flosstube, which is linked in the description. Registration is going to be on September 29th at 8 a.m. Phoenix time. And again, all details are in the Attics latest Flosstube. If you are available to join us, I hope you will, because it's going to be a great event. I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to it. And then the next huge news item is that we have the first finish of the Britomart Sampler by someone other than me. I know a lot of you are waiting for the class, and so you haven't started it yet, but this is the first finish, at least the first finish that has been shared with me by Becca Galloway, who has very graciously allowed me to share photos of her finish. She stitched it reversibly, and I am so excited to tell you that she did this with no prior experience, and her finish is beautiful and impeccable. So it really shows you what is possible. And like that wasn't impressive enough, she is also joining us in the class for round 2 with the Britomart Sampler. Huge congratulations to Becca on a superb finish, and thank you for letting me share your photos here on the channel. I know I was really impressed and so excited to see this, and I hope it spurs many of you on as we launch the Britomart Sampler class. So this video is going to go up the morning of the 16th, but I'm actually filming on Sunday the 14th so that I can spend tomorrow at my computer for the launch of the Britomart Sampler class, helping with any questions or troubleshooting with Thinkific, etc. Login information was sent out last week. If you're registered in the class but you didn't receive your login and or the lesson email that's sent out on the morning of the 15th, please check your spam folder. If it's not there, use the contact form on my website linked in the description to let me know, and please make sure that you provide an alternate email or an Instagram handle so that I can reach you. It happens every year that there's at least one student who just can't get my emails at all. They end up getting blocked by their service provider, and so this is just trying to head off the part where you can't reach me and you think I'm not responding to you. It gives me a heart attack every year. So just to review the Britomart Sampler, this is back. The class covers reversible stitching and non-reversible stitching, although honestly the line between them in this class is a little less thick than you might think. So that's also a topic covered in the first lesson, which will have already dropped by the time you are watching this video. Anyways, as I was saying, by the time you've seen this, the first lesson's up and the course is actually underway. If you would like to join us, it is not too late. I am absolutely accepting late registrations. I have kits in stock available with or without the class. And the class is not live. It's PDF downloads that are posted every month and available to you for 10 months, the full duration of the class plus 3 months afterwards. So you won't have missed anything if you're joining us late. There wasn't some session on the 15th that is gone past and can't come back. So that's the Britomart Sampler. Well, that's the back of the Britomart Sampler. And I hope that those of you who are in the class are excited to start. Please share your progress. Make sure you tag me on Instagram at Katie Strachan Embroidery. Mentions are very frequently not pushing through to my feed. And I'm really excited to see what you all do with the sampler. So, can't believe it's all already here. It's been a long journey to get to this point, I know, but I'm so excited to share this all with you, and I know many of you are very excited to start. So that's the Britomart Sampler, and that leads me to next up, which is the fall kit release. This is now available on my website. This is my interpretation of Stacy Nash, Gather Thy Harvest Pinkeep. The kit is $58 and includes everything but the chart, which you will need to provide. Nothing in the kit is a substitute for having the chart. So I've got a photo guide to my conversion, a written guide in here that tells you how each thread is deployed, the full thread pack, 7 threads, and a lovely, very neutral palette. And then we also have the linen in a very generous cut. You'll note that this is much larger than my finish, but I didn't stitch the full design. I left off a lot of the stuff at the side. So I wanted to give you plenty to do the full design as started with good margins. And then it also includes the silk satin backing. It does not include the briolets that are shown in my own finish, but a link is provided to the exact beads and briolets used if you would like to add that to your own. So that is the absolutely lovely Stacy Nash Gather Thy Harvest Pinkeep, now available on my website. I find this one really interesting because the palette is both compressed and very neutral heavy. This is actually a pretty standard fall stitching palette. It would be very useful for other fall colors. I mean, easily transferable, I guess is the better word. Some great neutrals in there. Really nice orange to make it pop, some great supporting greens. But then you look at the finish and it has an entirely different character to it than the spools themselves might suggest, and that's all provided by what the ground does for you in this piece. This is Legacy Linen 38 count Soie Surfine in that beautifully purpley blue gray. Just brings something totally new to those fall colors. And then I've got a really nicely coordinating silk satin for the back. That's included. And that is Gather Thy Harvest Fall Pinkeep, which I hope you will enjoy. With that, let's get to the stitching. I have been working on just 2 projects since I saw you last. There's still no gasket stitching this time. I'm hoping next time. And one of those is for Sampler Symposium, so I can only show you one of the pieces I've been working on, which is my Sampler September piece. This is an original sampler design on 48 count Legacy Linen bride cake with Soie Surfine. It's very heavy on green and pink because, look, it's me who's designing it. Actually, here. This is kind of my working palette. These may not all be used. Only these pinks are definitely going to be dropped, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And then there will, yes, be more neutrals and other shades, but that's kind of my anchoring color idea. I'm having a lot of fun with this. So my stitching is pretty erratic at the moment. I am hopping all over the bottom half of this sampler, trying to figure out colors, design, and the details of all of those. The bottom half of the sampler is actually already fully charted, but putting that into stitches and colors helps me feel much more comfortable with my decisions. So I'm just gonna talk about inspiration for a second here. You often see a house with a very short strip of grass beneath it, or a large ground with a full pastoral scene like Eliza Townsend by Cross Stitch Antiques, where you've got sheep, animals, people, a pond, Charlotte Warrington by Needlework Press. There are a lot of examples of what I might call the pastoral scene. But what I really wanted to see, and it's not saying that this hasn't been done, it's just what I wanted to see on this particular sampler, was a true garden scene. So I am actually doing parterres, which will have flowers in them, as well as, ooh, lots of dang grass. But so far I am really enjoying all of the stitching because it's like fitting together a puzzle, seeing how the ideas in my head come together on all the linen. So there I'm starting to outline one of the parterres. There's going to be two beneath the house. I have started with grass. I've taken it all the way over to one side so I could get to the border, and then I have to extend on this side as well. But it's a fun adventure so far. I have also made some pretty good progress on the house. So I've established the parameters, needs a roof clearly, and then I am filling in on one of the wings. But you can see the shape it's going to take, and also that the wing is just one row higher. So realism in cross stitch is not really what the form is suited for, but that doesn't mean you can't add a few tricks in to kind of just give some perspective and help the eye realize what it's looking at and not make the house look too blocky. So each wing is going to be one row higher, and that's going to extend to the roof line too. That just little bit of staggering I think will help trick the eye and make the house look a little more like a center block flanked by two wings, which is what my inspiration house, Hanbury Hall, which we discussed in the last episode, is, as opposed to just a giant rectangle, or at least that's how I think it's going to look. It might still just look like a really big blank block, but we'll see. Ooh, it's turning out, there's some progress. I mean, it's all over the place, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. And so the sampler doesn't yet have a name, but I think it is coming together, and I hope to have more progress to show you next time. A lot of my stitching hours have gone, oh, and also this is the back. Pretty neat. Anyways, as I was saying, a lot of my stitching hours have gone to Symposium lately, so this is all my current stitching. Not to mention, hey, there are a fair amount of hours there in the grass in the house. So, like I said, oh, I totally lost my train of thought. That's my current stitching, but I do have a past finish to reveal. If you have been at the attic events where I've been teaching recently, you have actually seen this in person, but I haven't shown it on Flosstube before. And this is the Damascene Rose, which will open for registration on October 14th. It's the new embroidery class from Katie Strachan Artisan Embroidery. I will give full details about the class at registration, but for today I wanted to show you the project and tell you a little bit about it. It is an absolute festival of green, pink, and gold, and the glitter and texture in person is just absolutely extraordinary, courtesy of the gilt scallop trim, which has been specially produced for this class by Thistle Threads. This is actually my maiden voyage into teaching needlelace and dimensional work. I'm so excited to share this all with you. It's really fun. But this class also focuses on the subtleties of color and texture. It's a really limited palette. We only have a couple shades in each color. So we are going to be exploring how small changes can give you different effects. The needlelace is almost all just plain detached buttonhole. There's just a touch of Ceylon stitch here on the side stems, but so we're really going to be looking at how small changes in scale, working thread, and return will give you different looks with the same stitch, and how different applications of the same color can then shift how you see it. And those will be actual theoretical topics that are discussed, as well as the practical how-to of do you make this project. This is inspired by the interior lid panel on my green casket, and it has been sized to fit inside a Thistle Threads casket. I'll show how that works at class launch. Today is just a preview of the class, but it can be slotted right into the interior lid of a Thistle Threads casket, which is why mine is finished on a panel. As part of the class, I am going to be providing an expanded template for how to extend this design into a full casket panel, either the lid of a casket or the interior of a lid like my own original piece. So I will be suggesting threads and stitches for the extension, as well as providing a full line drawing. But since I haven't actually stitched this into a full-size panel, just the piece you see here, there isn't going to be detailed instruction on how to expand it. You'll have to take what you learned in class or in Thistle Thread's Cabinet of Curiosity and then apply that to the extra design that is provided. Or you can just work the Damascene Rose exactly as you see it here. My classes are always work at your own pace, so the running will overlap slightly with the Britomart Sampler course, but you can absolutely take both of those at once, not a problem at all. As long as you download all of your lessons, it really doesn't matter when you actually do the stitching. So don't hesitate to take both on if they are both of interest to you. The Damascene Rose is likely going to be a one-time offering because a lot of thread had to be made especially for this, and it would be hard to meet the threshold for another production run. So I hope you'll think about joining me in the Damascene Rose. Full details coming in October. Really excited about this piece. I hope you are too. And then let's look at haul. I don't actually have very much haul. So I got myself a treat to celebrate the launch of the Britomart Sampler class, which I still can't believe is actually here. And that's the new Kiana jewelry case in Plum, one of their fall colors, which is beautiful. It's a little darker than I thought it was going to be on the website. If you're expecting purple, you'd be a little disappointed. It's actually an almost perfect color match to Goblin's 575, if you have that color, which is a very, it's a mysterious shade. It's very purple but with plenty of gray and brown in it. So I actually think that makes for a lovely case. But similar to the other ones, I will use this as a stitching case. I haven't done anything to it yet, but because it's bigger, it's got two little cases in the bottom. My biggest quibble with this is actually the size. So unfortunately they discontinued the old size in these. This is the old one. This is the new one. This is something I actually find much more practical for daily use. Now, if you like to carry around a lot of stuff, or you like to have all your threads with you at once, you might actually find this more useful. I think for myself, like maybe if I were on a longer trip would really be when I would find this more useful, or just store the spools for an ongoing project. But for daily stitching, this is definitely still my go-to, because I find that even on a sampler, I am realistically only using so many colors in one stitching session. So I just swap the spools out. I don't need to have them with me all at once. So I really like the new one. The colors, absolutely luscious. Ooh. But my old one is still going to be my daily stitching companion and case. Thankfully, their products wear really well. I went and looked this up, and I purchased this in December 2021. I have used it every single day since then. It only doesn't have spools in it right now because I pulled them out to show you on Flosstube, my full palette, which you could fit in the big one if you wanted to have everything at once. But despite that, this thing looks as good as new, so it's really only necessary to have one. Somehow I now have two. Oops. That is my only haul, but for next time I should have the Addict's new release from Jean Lee's collection and Wild Men to share with you on the next episode. They just emailed me about picking a linen, so I am hopeful that it'll be on the way soon. I picked 5363 Sycamore Seed Pod because nothing says Jean like really high count stitching. I wanted to finish today with some linen comparisons, some favorite shades of Legacy linen and how they relate to them. If you don't have an LNS close to you, can't see these in person, or you just want to hear my thoughts on color and ground. If not, you can skip ahead all the way to the end to hear the giveaways. So I chose a few shades that I really like and find useful, and then we're going to talk about how they relate to each other. So we're going to start with Himalayan Fog. This is kind of my anchor color. I'm holding these back just because they tend to wash out a little closer to the camera. That's a truer color representation. I've used Himalayan Fog a great deal in kits. Many of you may have it, and it's one of my favorite shades. Everything looks good on Himalayan Fog. You really can't go wrong with it if you want a lighter ground. So it's definitely gray, but it's got a lot of brown in it, and sometimes I feel like I see just a touch of pinky purple, and that comes more apparent when you put it up with other linens, which is what we're going to do. So this is kind of what I might call my control, something that many of you might be familiar with. And then this is Legacy Linen 37 count smoke signal. Okay, that's accurate. Washes out as you get closer. But this is a nice medium shade. It's definitely brown, although it's brown with a lot of gray in it, which is why it actually shades beautifully with Himalayan Fog. And the reason it does is also because Himalayan Fog has brown undertones in it rather than blue. If you were putting it up to one of the blue toned grays, like say Soie Surfine, what the Fog kit is stitched on, they're pretty, they just don't shade together. So putting colors up next to each other is also a really good way to see the undertones in them, whether you're talking about linen, thread, paint chips, or anything else. And then another comparison would be Smoke Signal and Filbert. Ooh, at which point Filbert turns, at which point Smoke Signal turns a little more gray. You see a little less brown. Filbert, which I love. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, but you're gonna have to hear me talk about it because I still have plenty of it and I love it. Filbert is so interesting. It's purple. It certainly looks very purple when it's up against the brown Smoke Signal, but it's also got brown and gray in it, and what exactly you see in it depends what color is on it, what colors it's against, what is the lighting. It's always changing, and that kind of elusive color nature of Filbert is one of the things I really like about it. So check out Filbert next to Smoke Signal. But then if you want to see the more pinky purple tones in it, next to Wild Honey, which is a light shell pink, but it has definite gray tones in it. Are we seeing the theme here? All of these colors have definite gray undertones, which is probably why I like them so much. Great thing to grind fabric. And the gray content in Wild Honey is what keeps it from being sickly sweet. You can put just about anything on it, and it's got, yeah, very definite pink tones to it, but it doesn't make your teeth fall out. That's one of the things I really, really like about Wild Honey. Red really pops on it. So this is actually a dark fuchsia, but ooh, beautiful. So I actually love Wild Honey most of all for Christmas stitching because all of that red and green really comes to life on it, although Christmas colors also looked fantastic on Filbert, as we saw in all my Stacy Nash Gingerbread House adventures. So the moral of this little particular linen comparison is don't be afraid to get unusual with your grounds. A lot of my most striking finishes, like say Cardinal Ken by Plum Street Samplers, where you took a design you really liked and you did something unexpected with it by plunking it on an interesting linen. And then if I hold up Himalayan Fog, Wild Honey, and Filbert together, you get a really nice value gradient. This shows the relative amount of depth of color in each, and you can see just how light Himalayan Fog is and just how much color is in Filbert. So lightest to darkest, even though they're different in actual hue. And it's when you put it against a pink tone that Himalayan Fog looks the most gray. So just to recap, watch how the colors shift against other colors. I always find this really interesting. It's also a good way to bring up relative value, is to hold it up against something else and assess. Also a really good way to assess the color balance. Take a photograph and then look at the photograph, because sometimes the camera will see things that aren't immediately clear to your eye. So those are 4 favorite legacy linen shades and how they relate to each other. I hope you found that helpful. Sometimes when I talk about color, I get a little into the weeds, and I hope that it was focused, on point, and not just blah. But with that, let's start to wrap this episode up, and we will start with the giveaway winners before I announce the new giveaways. So the giveaway winners are for the gray and neutral linen packs, which were announced in the last episode. And the winners for gray are at Bake and Stitch. For neutral, the winner is at Loretta O'Neill 866. I've commented on each of your comments. Please send me your mailing address by using the contact form on my website, and I would be thrilled to get these out to you. Now, we have new giveaways today, and these are mother of pearl needle minders provided by Jackie Duplessis. US only on these, please. I'm not sure of the export status on these because they're natural products. So the first needle minder is a beautiful kind of sun design, and then holes around the edge where you can park threads or needles, although I just appreciate because it's beautiful. The keyword for this is pearl. And then the second needle minder, also mother of pearl, is keyword basket. There we go. The camera always wants to look for my face, and it's really irritating. I wish there was a setting that said look for stitching instead. So keyword basket is for the basket shaped mother of pearl needle minder from Jackie Duplessis. You are very welcome to enter either, both, neither. I'll see you next time, whatever. But US only, please. Sorry about that. That brings this episode to a close. As a final reminder, fall kits now available on my website, link in the description. Oh, I love this. Isn't that beautiful? Such a great example of what a really saturated color can do for a design. Not an original idea here because Stacy Nash also stitched this on a very deep linen color, but oh, it's fabulous. I love it. So for next time, continuing progress on my mystery sampler. I might even have a name for it next time. Probably not. We're going to be seeing where it takes me, which will probably be more dang grass, but maybe I'll be putting some flowers into the parterres. I definitely need to get working around the border. And I also want to return to some smalls. Stacy Nash Let Love Grow, which will be the first Flosstube kit for 2026, really needs some work. And I also want to get back to my ornament 12 by 12. I did knock off September back in August, but I am missing my regular Christmas stitching, so it is time to pull out a Prairie Schooler Santa and make it bright pinky red and happy. Can't wait. So I should have a start on that next time, and we will see where my stitching takes me. I hope you have a wonderful full week, wonderful next 2 weeks. I hope that fall is starting to come to you wherever you are, and that life is beautiful. Until I see you next time, happy stitching.